on 30 seconds of difference between them. Just the last 10, they're gonna go 1 minute of difference.
Oh, so basically, are they gonna start? They're gonna go that way, right?
Yeah, they start here. They start here and they go that way.
They go that way.
All to the, they pass the finish line, and then they make a return just right there. Like, it's from here is like 15 kilometers to there and 15 kilometers back, and they finish where the Tour of Bloom starts.
Come back up.
As long as you can make it back 30 seconds before your race.
Okay.
Go across the finish line, please.
Got it.
Thank you. I thought you were Mason for a second.
Mason. He's gone. You hear he left?
No, I didn't.
He went to Europe.
I don't even know that.
He's been up and moved. He left us.
Can't believe it. He was racing in 4-5 last year. Not this time, but like the first race of the season. He shouldn't be there.
Nice to start all over. Doing category D.
Good for him. I remember seeing his Strava profile, the power profile, and I was like, this person, his power meter is lying. There's no way. And then he showed up. Howdy.
From the quick thing, that they played the track. Pinky holder. I'm sure there's a. I wonder if it's going to affect any of the Velolite existing bars. Because I'm hoping they'll come to no excuses for not going fast. It's so weird because you have this bar and you have something that bolts on. It's not structural.
It's hard enough for me to drive.
Yeah, but how is that then fine? I'm trying out some 30-centimeter AliExpress bars right now, and I'm not sure.
Where's some of those?
My driveway.
Yeah, okay.
Right now, I don't know. I feel like the 33 might be like better. I still feel a little unstable.
Did they didn't close that village though?
They demolished it. They just but so it's been there. It could have been using it for the past 6 years. But we've had no access to it. Since from a bike fit, I had this couple, and the wife was really interested in track. So I did this fit. It was during COVID times. She's like, yeah, I'd love to ride this. So I got 2 track bikes. I was like, I can make one of them fit you. So I took her and I did a one-on-one track session for her. She's like, yeah, I'm totally gonna race next year. And then so we did that session.
If it works great, you
don't
don't need to come back.
And then
If still having issues, come back and we'll keep
track
it
closed forever.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Stay fast.
But at least she got to ride it once. And it was like super fun. Yeah.
And then like the market for track bikes in Portland.
But I just
Yo,
I fly to Detroit.
Appreciate you.
Of course, Cormac.
Have you seen this Detroit?
Yeah, of course. I watch all that shit. I'm home with James. He's one of my best.
Oh yeah,
I saw you guys race.
yeah.
Yeah, that shit's cool. Cool, man.
It's cool. It's
Is this insane or what?
It where the garden mount went.
Yeah, if possible, I'd like one.
Yeah, it's totally
Get
possible.
one off the other
So
way.
that's cool.
Yeah, totally possible.
But
Tracks you've been to?
numbers.
Gotta have some numbers.
Alright.
Mega.
Fun.
You
too.
Good luck.
What do we, I think you just pop it on, maybe. Yeah, you just pop it on. You want to dump it out?
No.
Oh, you want it? Oh, you mad dog. Good for you. With your
Swear
log
it
bottle and shit. Yeah. Yeah, go ride it, I guess.
Tech guide says so, but we'll see.
There's an amazing second class riding always beats first class walking. Oh, happy birthday, son! What a way to spend a birthday.
Yesterday was a good night.
Hey, I got one right here. Okay. All right. No drafting, huh?
No drafting. It'll never happen. Thank you, guy.
Excellent.
Yeah, I want a coffee. Oh, okay, we're right across the street from their Seattle campus.
We'll take it.
Yeah, they own the block or whatever. Yeah, they own the whole block or whatever. They got fucking Black Diamond out there now.
Way cooler shit.
Yeah. No, we can get you put a
Piece of cardboard over here.
Yeah, right?
Ready for this? Yeah. It's gonna be hard on the road bikes. Just gotta double check with like once your wrist up. It's gonna be rough. You can do that. What's your fit?
Directly on the other side. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Distraction. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. I work down in Tacoma. Yeah. How's Casey doing? Yeah. No. I'm in the Army. Yeah. Yeah. No meth, not yet. Maybe soon.
What's your goal time today?
I'm not sure. I'm just hoping they let me stay in for tomorrow. Is this being live streamed?
Yep. This is live.
Right here by the track. Thank you, brother. How you feeling?
Yeah, there it is.
Sure you'll do well.
Oh, I thought it was a goner. You know there's a place turning ship?
That's right over there with Robin.
Don't redo it.
Go that way. Wade.
I can imagine. I realized to my horror this morning that I left it. It's gone or
POA?
the only one I have like this.
Yeah. And that's probably what it's all for.
I was like,
Someone doing traffic control.
Yeah. Where the,
alright, no broken carbon today.
Welcome back to Palisades for the individual time trial here at Tour de Bloom. Elite Men about to get underway with our first starter, I think scheduled for a minute after the hour. We'll go in a reverse GC order today, which means that our new overall race leader after yesterday's stage, Matthew Wilson, will be our final starter today just before 2 o'clock local time at 1:57. So exactly an hour from now. Looking at Ben Showland first up at 1:01. These guys are going to go at 30-second intervals. If you watched our UCI women's race earlier today, you saw them go at 1-minute intervals. These guys will do 30-second intervals until we get down to our last 10 riders, and then they're going to go to 1-minute intervals, it looks like, starting with Evan Russell, then into Tim McBurney, Chris Ernst, Andrea Clark, Cameron Beaumont, Quinn Felton, Ricky Arnapol, Nathan Martin, Caleb Clausen, Sebastian Brennis, and Matthew Wilson, your final 10 starters today. But first, Apex Racing going to send off a few of them. Ben Shallon, Cooper Klein, and Ben Anderson, your first three up here, and then Tyler Mezzi for POA Racing, followed by Justin Rose after that for Team RF Foundations, presented by Georgia Cycles. So about 30K out there today, out and back. Be curious to see what the wind is doing. We watched it pick up quite a bit during the elite women's race. And if those conditions either get worse or die down, that could have some major effects on the race out there today. Winning time for Emily Ehrlich in the UCI women's race was 39:09 for the 30K course, and that was with some wind. The morning riders definitely had an advantage in the women's race today. Ehrlich had a great ride, so that'll be our benchmark for a good fast time. I would say in the under 40, pretty impressive today. As we watch these first guys go off. Should have a camera at the finish as well. I'll do my best to track these times. I don't have access to any sort of data or live timing or anything like that, but we can work off of the time of day, both start and finish times. So we'll try and identify riders as they make their way back through the finish line and then figure out their running time based on their time of day finish and time of day start. Apex Racing's Ben Showland first up. We can only have two teammates after him with Cooper Klein and Benjamin Anderson. It's a little bit of a downhill run from the start here. They go through the finish line on the way out, and then it's a U-turn to come back through and finish on the other side of the road. So center line rules apply here, and I think I saw in the tech guide that they are going to allow some traffic to roll here, so I think that these guys have to obey rules of the road as well if they come up on that. So see if that changes anything. 10 seconds. Nice pro countdown here from Zach Mano. And there you go. First rider underway. Ben Showland off and rolling. Not sure if this is nice or a nightmare for the Apex Racing team mechanic to have 3 guys going all at once. Guess on one hand you get it all out of the way, but on the other hand, it's a lot of work. Been offering a ton of support to Matthew Wilson this week. Be up to him to try and hold on to that jersey today, but Mezzi going to take off and hopefully stay fresh for the final day tomorrow. So your next starters down the line there with Justin Rose into the gates, Julian Cameron, Quinn Kennedy, Devin Wilson, and Xiaohan Zhang from the ACT squad yet to come. So there's the out that I was talking about, and then it comes back the other way across that white line drawn across the pavement. See Cooper Klein heading out there. Should be Benjamin Anderson. Anderson's making up some time already. It'll be Tyler Mezzi behind them. All right, back at the start house, this is Devin Wilson from Alto Velo Racing rolling away. Here comes Mezzi. Xiaohan Zhang going to roll away. That'll bring up Ben Vander Zonden, Austin Carroll, Cooper Langard, Thomas Merritt, and Andrew Austin, your next starters on the list. So this is about a minute and a half away from the start house that they're rolling out of here. There goes Vander Zonden for the BPM Hotley Brown Newsom squad. Austin Carroll up next. Again, these guys start in reverse GC order, so a lot of the riders that you're seeing taking off right now are individuals that rode in support of a teammate who's going to race later on this afternoon. These guys are the disposable riders that oftentimes have to put their nose in the wind for a large portion of the day in support of their team or team leader. Austin Carroll, I-Speed, taking off. We saw them in the breakaway yesterday with Brian McCullough. Spent a little time in a 3-rider move up there. Eventually brought back, but showed some fitness and gave us something to talk about. Just watched Cooper Langard rolling off. Be Thomas Merritt up next. Then comes Andrew Austin. Austin Durfelt after him. It's Jeremy Gourd and Samuel Hogman, followed by Simon Wu, David Takahashi, and Peter Collins. Your next starters in line here. These guys do get a courtesy bike check. It's not quite a UCI level event, so they don't have the full UCI regulations to them. But it's pretty close. These guys get pretty close to the full experience, so they'll go through a brief bike check at the beginning of that line once they get checked in, and then await their turn at 30-second intervals. Here goes Andrew Austin for the Hagens Berman Racing Seattle squad. There's the iSpeed jersey of Austin Carroll. Heading out and then getting a look at the finish line that he'll come back to here in a little bit. Jeremy Gourd rolling off the line. It'll bring up Sam Hogman up next. 2 Canadians just taken off there. Gourd for the Mariloma squad, and then Manteo Racing Sam Hogman riding on an international license as well. It'll go Simon Wu, David Takahashi, Peter Collins, Rowan Nistel, Orion Massey, Jacob Timmerman, Eamon Lucas, Jack Watson, and Pierre-Henri Laforsade coming up here. Here's a look down the line. And this will be Andrew Austin headed out. Followed by Austin Durfeld. 30-second interval is going to be interesting out here. This there's definitely going to be some catches. I mean, we're going to see a lot of mixing of the order that these guys start in for sure. So I'll do my best to keep an eye on it at the finish. got a report from out on course. Sounds like the wind is picking up ever so slightly. I don't know if that'll even be noticeable across the roughly 15K. This kind of goes through a canyon. You see how it's cut out across the side there, so there's not a ton of elevation gain. Most riders say the key here is saving enough for the return. I know Rebecca Reza talked with our men's leader, Matthew Wilson, this morning. He said key is make sure you don't fade for the headwind on the way back. Here's Eamon Lucas up next. Mike's Bike Squad out of NorCal. Off and rolling. So our first Expeditors jersey rolling out there. That must be Peter Collins on his 1:10:30 start. That means we'll be looking at names like Nistel, Massey, and Timmerman going back through that line. Meanwhile, Starthouse starts should have Jack Watson, Pierre-Henri Laforsade, Martin Acosta, Alexander Aiken, Sean Hollenbeck, John Reinders, and Ethan Powell coming up here. So I think this is going to be Laforsade. I'll bring up Martin Acosta up next. Mark Sato from Red Truck Racing taking off across the line. Next line of starters working their way down with an upcoming 1:15 start time. You're looking at Alexander Aiken, Sean Hollenbeck, John Reinders, Ethan Powell, Mark Sato, Eli Watson, Oliver Hamill, Thomas Fuller, Eric Zuger, and John Collier coming up. See, the two newcomers from iSpeed have been sticking together in the peloton. Jack Watson and Eli Watson on their first pro race. Their coach and I'm going to guess road captain Brian McCullough in the breakaway yesterday. But nice to see that Jack and Eli are hanging in there. I think this is Jack on the way out here. And then we just saw Eli in the start house about to take his start. Just watch Ethan Powell roll off. Powell was in that breakaway yesterday as well. Did a lot of work. He's going to have some heavy legs headed into this one, but He was the one that started yesterday's move. Spent a good while out there all by himself, so got to give Ethan Powell some credit for his ride yesterday. Initiating was eventually the breakaway of the day. It'll be Mark Sato up next from Red Truck Racing. Eli Watson into the start house. And then after Watson comes Oliver Hamill, Thomas Fuller, Eric Zuger, John Collier, Zach Kowalczyk, Nick Gumans, Jonathan Sue, Alan Schroeder, and Colby Mullen, your next starters. Watson underway. There's an interesting setup on the high-speed bike of Thomas Fuller here. That was Powell on the way out, I think. Fuller underway. That'll put POA Racing's Eric Zuger up next into the start house. All right, back up to your next starters with John Collier. All right, it's for Team RF Foundations, presented by Georgia Cycles. And then POA will be back up with Zach Kowalczyk. Watson on the way out. You can see these guys flying as they pass that finish line with a tailwind on the way out. You can see there's two sort of wind gauges that I've been using. The signage hanging from the finish line, and then there's also like an Oakley teardrop flag off to the side. Both of those heading towards the mountain, which means these guys are going to be looking at a headwind on the way back. So hopefully they enjoy the easy both tailwind and also downhill riding. They're coming down a hill on the start here. Gives them a good chance to build up speed pretty quickly, and then it's a downhill run even past through the line. Still about 40 minutes of racing, or starting, I should say, left to go here. I'll be looking for our first riders back in about 20 minutes from now. I'll be looking for names like Ben Showland, Cooper Klein, Benjamin Anderson, Tyler Mezzi, and Justin Rose. Some of our first starters at the top of the hour today. Again, winning time in the elite women's race was 39:09. Most times we were closer to like 44, 45, 46 minutes. So I'm expecting a lot of those early on here from some tired legs here at Tour de Bloom. And then we'll see the GC stars that I expect to set some of the fastest times a little later on in the afternoon. So your next starters with Nick Gumas, Jonathan Sue, Alan Schroeder, Colby Mullen, all up there. This must be Zach Kowalczyk or Eric Zuger, one of the POA guys. A few quick words of encouragement. That is Brian McCullough, the breakaway veteran. Spent some time off the front yesterday in that high-speed jersey that just rolled up.
Is that right? Thank you. How are you?
After McCullough, you'll be looking at Zach Rosen, speed block jersey there. And I think I was probably Trevor King with them getting ready to check in for their starts coming up here. Also going to be looking at Giovanni Romero, Jack Duncan, Owen Harris, Trevor King, Troy Fields, and Theodore Schultz to get us halfway through our starters.
Have a good one. What time are you? 28:30. You? Nope. You got the boardman. Hey, so the guy in front of you is not here yet, but go ahead and line up before this guy. So this is your guy. This is my guy? Yep. You're chasing this guy now? Is that what's going on?
See the officials checking in our riders as well. Jack Duncan rolling in here, exchanging some friendly words before the start. The officials try to keep them in order so that there's no stress, no confusion, no worries. When these guys do get up to the line, they try to keep a pretty calm demeanor down there for the most part so that the riders can stay calm.
Yes.
And Jack Duncan getting the full treatment. I love it. It's McCullough in front of him, the I-Speed jersey. Meanwhile, be looking at a few more heading out. Still about 10 minutes away from seeing any anticipated riders. Sorry, make that 20 minutes. Getting 30K out and back. They say the pavement is pretty good here. So nice smooth ride for the most part. I didn't hear about any mechanicals, flats, anything like that in the Elite Women's race. So looks like they got a nice little route picked out here for our Elite men. I think this is Alan Schroeder up next. Team RF Foundations presented by Georgia Cycles. Out of ramp, Colby Mullen, the Canadian for Red Truck Racing, presented by Mosaic Homes up next. Behind Mullen, Brian McCullough, then Zach Rosen, Giovanni Romero, Jack Duncan, Owen Harris, Trevor King, Troy Fields, Theo Schwartz. Then we'll get into Manu Moore, Cam Fitzmaurice, Matt Hepworth, Declan Kelly, and Odin Thordarson. All coming up in the next few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Just watch Brian McCullough go away. Zach Rosen up. The speed block team been pretty impressive this year. I know both their men's and women's squad have committed to a pretty hefty schedule, so bravo to them. It's been nice seeing those pink jerseys up at the front of a lot of the bike races over the last few weeks. That looks like an Expeditors jersey. Probably Jonathan Sue headed out. Back into high speed with Giovanni Romero out of Mexico. Don't have any info from the turnaround out there, but we will start seeing those, I think, lead motos when they start coming back. So hopefully I'll have an idea and we can catch the finish times of our first riders rolling through. These guys rolling out. Report on course says that the headwind is picking up, so sounds like they're getting a little more wind. That black tent starting to blow a little bit more. It's a good thing these guys got their aero helmet on a day like today. As we take a look at Project Echelon's Troy Fields getting ready to roll off here. We'll bring up ACT's Theodore Schwartz up next into the start house. That wind I was talking about gusting at 16, but there's definitely a steady 5 to 7, if not more. That's enough to make you rethink a disc wheel with the 16-mile-an-hour gust. Part of that would depend if any of that gusting is a crosswind gust or a headwind gust. Tag cycling up next. This will be Manu Moore out of Canada. Off and rolling for his 30-second interval. It'll be Cam Fitzmaurice up next, then Matt Hepworth, Declan Kelly, Odin Thoderson, Mathieu Gauthier, Tristan Drews, Ian Brown, Casey Bloomer, and Aiden Oliphant coming up, your next few riders here. Bunch of Canadians in this one.
Next rider, Steve Move.
Have a good day. Thanks.
So Hepworth getting into his start. We are just coming up on 30 minutes since our first rider left the start here. And again, anticipating, I'm going to guess 42 to 45 for most of the early times here. Might see a standout ride from one of the early riders, but we'll wait and see. There goes Hepworth. Declan Kelly, the Canadian, up next for the Beachy Squadra squad. props to the riders traveling with these bikes. I know it's adds to the logistics to get a road bike to a stage like this. But I will say it probably helps on a day like today. Doderson rolling out. Look at Gauthier, Drews, Brown, Bloomer, Oliphant. Then it's Finn Borstmeyer, Walker, Bowanen. It'll be Luca Vieman behind him, Florian Costa, and Taj Krieger. There's a good question. Do you start with a bottle on a day like today? I think most of them have at least some sort of hydration solution. They may even prefer it depending on how it tests in the tunnel, I guess. Most riders will start with the down tube bottle if they do have one.
That one's okay?
Next starters for Casey Bloomer. All right, riders continuing to head out. We are into the tail end of our starters here as this Alto Velo rider rolls out of the gate. That is going to be Florian Costa. So Taj Krieger, Max Ritzau, Connor Howe. Then comes Sam Boardman, Cormac McGough, Cade Bickmore, and Finn Mitchell. You're into the top 20 or so riders at that point. Guys been doing a lot of work up at the front, protecting their teams. Pretty impressive that after all that work, they're still up here. So that'll bring up Cade Bickmore into the start house. It'll be Finn Mitchell next. Then comes Stephen Bassett, Tyler Hartle, Ethan Crane, Kaylor Marshall, Alexander Murison, Kent Ross, and Blake Macheris. Gets us into our 78th starters of the day with 94 total guys left in this one. Matthew Wilson will be our final starter for the POA Racing Squad. Said he doesn't love time trials, doesn't hate time trials, so neutral about him, we'll call it. All right, more guys heading out there. Again, wind is reporting to be picking up just a little bit here. And we are now expecting the imminent arrival of a finish at any time. All right, there are your first riders coming back. That looked like an Apex jersey to me, so it was either Shallon, Klein, or Anderson. Those guys started at 30-second intervals, so wouldn't be surprised. And based on time of day, it's going to be about a 42-minute ride, something like that, if that was Shallon. So, whoever that was, going to spend at least 30 seconds in the hot seat here. All right, here we go. These are finishers on the way back in. 13:44:30 for maybe Ben Anderson. So it put him at about a 42:30. Not sure if I saw Cooper Klein come in. I've only seen 2 of those Apex jerseys, but I couldn't tell you which 2 they are. Be looking at Tyler Mezzi, Justin Rose, and Julian Cameron, your next finishers on the way in. Into what I think is Evan Russell taking off. Check that. We still got a few riders to roll out here before Russell goes. It's probably Kaylor Marshall or Kent Ross from the Expeditors team. This is going to be Alex Martinek for Team Mara Foundations, presented by Georgia Cycles. It'll be Eric Berg up after him, and then we're into our last 10 starters to roll out of the start house. Sounds like we had a pretty good time roll in. Just a little bit ago. They're reporting Cooper Langard setting a new fast time with a 37:40 here. All right. So he must have snuck in right after those Apex riders. Langard with a 37:40, blowing the doors off of 6 of his 32nd riders. So we'll call 37:40 time to beat here. Meanwhile, next guy's taking off into the 148 block of starters for Tim McBurney. Also a breakaway artist yesterday. See how he does with some tired legs today. Here's some finishers on the way in. Alto Velo with Devin Wilson. How about that? Second currently is a 38:16. On the wheels of Jeremy Gourde, the Canadian for Mariloma Racing. So anything under 38 would get you onto the podium right now. Again, with Cooper Langard at 37:40 and Jeremy Gourde at 38:16. Your 2 fast times right now. Let's see who this is on the way in. Gonna be another Apex rider. Back up to the start. We are into... This should be Christopher Ernst. He's going to be out of the Expeditors kit. We'll have Andrea Klorak, followed by Cameron Beaumont, Quinn Felton, Ricky Arnapol, Nathan Martin, Caleb Clausen, Sebastian Brennis, and Matthew Wilson. Your last few starters coming up here. We're into the final top 10 riders in reverse GC order rolling off the line. And we got our first finishers on the way in with Cooper Langard setting a blistering 37:40. That one might hang out for a while. Let's see. 40:14 for third place. That's going to be Austin Carroll of iSpeed Racing right now. And then Ben Anderson did a 40:50, which I think is good for fourth right now. There's Mike's bikes rolling out. That must be McBurney with 29K of racing for him. Here's Andrea Kloark. Speed block presented by Tarun. Beaumont, Felton, Arnapol, Martin, Clausen, Brennis, and Wilson. Where moving to 1 minute intervals for our last 10 starters there. So we'll slow down the starts up top as these guys come in, finishing up their 30-second intervals. Give our GC riders a little bit more time in between them here. Here is Cameron Beaumont, who has been up there all week with Matthew Wilson. Beaumont maybe a little overshadowed by Wilson's GC ride here, but Cameron Beaumont starts the day hanging in to that GC scenario, just 8 seconds down on his teammate Matthew Wilson. So Beaumont absolutely going to be a threat for the GC. We'll see how things end up for that POA squad after the individual time trial today. Quinn Felton. Going stealth mode here. Here goes Clark on the way out for the speed block squad. There's the countdown for Felton and the Cyclesport.com squad off and rolling. That'll bring up Project Echelon's Ricky Arnapol into the start house up next. Caleb Clausen going to have a big weight on his shoulders today. He needs a good time trial to hang in here with these guys. Clausen at 8th place yesterday on the decline, 13 seconds back to the finish. So he needs to make up a little bit of time today. Clausen trying to come back from a 24-second deficit in the GC after yesterday. Wow, Race Radio reporting a new fast time coming in here from Ethan Powell of Tag Cycling. Just a 36:53. You'll remember Powell from yesterday's breakaway. So now Tag with your hot seat leader after a day in the break yesterday. Ethan Powell, the Canadian, going to go 36:53 and knock Cooper Langard's 37:40 down to second. So now 36:53, your new fast time, as Ethan Powell will spend some time in the hot seat. Looks like we just got a look at Caleb Clausen getting ready to roll out of the start house for him. Starting to see some Mike's Bikes jerseys coming back. That was probably Eamon Lucas. That'll be Arnapol on the way out. All right, down to our last three starters. This is Caleb Clausen, third place overall at the 2024 Tour de Bloom. Tucked in and ready to get aero for Project Echelon. That'll bring up second place. Sebastian Brenes Mata lost the jersey yesterday to Matthew Wilson. but he wants it back. That Canel's Java squad came to play, a small but mighty team. Brennis starts the day 6 seconds back on the overall with a 6 hour, 37 minute, and 8 second total.
How's the balance? Left or right?
A bit of left, you can push me like on the right side. No, at the right.
The other way?
Yeah. There. There. 15.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Brennis away, and that'll bring up Matthew Wilson, your final rider to take off today from the POA Racing Squad, overall race leader.
Center line rolls left. Road is open for traffic.
Left or right? Yeah, look good. Right. Left, right, right. There we go.
Last starter underway. Should all be on course. All right, so everyone has started, and 36:53 remains the fast time set by Ethan Powell. We'll let you know if any new fast times roll in here. We are about halfway through our finishers at this point, I think, with 94 riders taken to the start today. We're into riders starting around 35th, 37th, 39th, somewhere in there. A couple guys going to finish together here, including Eli Watson there. He started 33rd today for the iSpeed Pro Racing team. So about a third of the way through our finishers right now.
Hola Jorge, ahorita me voy a subir ya a la moto para ir a grabar normal. Ya acaba de salir el último corredor. Listo, me voy a subir. Gracias.
I wouldn't put the car, I would put the bikes on the car.
He's really trying to get his front end a little bit more.
You can see these guys flying on the way out. It's a combination of both a tailwind and a downhill run on this section of road. See, it goes downhill all the way until they make that left-hand bend. That'll be the uphill headwind right-hander coming back to the finish. So Sting is definitely in the tail end of this course today. All right, more riders come through. I see a POA Racing jersey. That's probably either Eric Zuger or Zach Kowalczyk. Can do some quick math. And say if it was Zuger, hold on a second here, though. And Zuger would have done like a 41-45. And Kowalczyk would have done a 42-45. Probably Martin Acosta there. Huggins, Berman, Seattle. Put him at 14:01, call it 45. That have him riding a 47-45. That's confirming that was Costa, the Huggins Berman rider that we saw rolling through a little bit ago. 47:45 is approximate time. Really shows you how strong this Ethan Powell 36:53 is. Cooper Langard hurdled on to second with a 37:40. You can also see how serious this wind is. See the Tour de Bloom sign up above. That's what I was talking about earlier. Race radar reporting wind gusts are increasing 16 to 20 mile an hour gusts out there. That is significantly higher, I would say, even than we had an hour ago when these guys started to take off from the line. So it is getting worse out there. It is getting windier, and that means it's getting tougher. And remember, this is a headwind on the way back, so It doesn't get much tougher than that. Jonathan Sue just rolling through the line. 14:05:30, we'll call it. For a 40:30 for Sue. If the order stayed the same, we'll be looking at Schroeder, Mullen, McCulloch, Rawson, and Romero on the way into the finish. This is probably McCulloch on the way back in, finishing up for high speed. That looked like an 05 to me. So that put him at a little under 41. Did see a Project Echelon jersey come in. Oh, maybe this is McCulloch. I saw a Project Echelon jersey come in a little bit ago. I think that was Troy Fields. And that will be a pretty good time for him. I think it's going to be a new fast time. I'll wait for Race Radio to confirm. I've got him at a 36:30. And Race Radio going to say 36:25. So that'll go ahead and confirm Troy Fields' new fast time out on course as the Project Echelon rider will move into the hot seat here. Again, with a 36:25, knocking down Ethan Powell's 36:53 to second. Man, Project Echelon finding the power riders. A couple riders going to roll in together here. Maybe Jack Duncan. Is that a Mike's Bikes jersey? I think so. It'll be a 41:29 for Duncan that just rolled through the line there. I think that was a red truck jersey, which was probably Colby Mullen. He's going to go 43:30. $14:10 on the dot for Zach Rawson across the line. That's a 43-minute ride for him. group of riders going to finish together here. Trevor King, maybe? This will be interesting to see what this does for GC with Troy Fields' scenario here. I don't even know if he's within striking distance today. Give me a second. Fields starts the day at 7:17 down. I doubt that we see Matthew Wilson give up 7:17 to Fields, but this ride's certainly going to get him closer. All right, so as things stand right now, Troy Fields with a 36:25. Your current fast time, Ethan Powell in second with a 36:53. Declan Kelly has slipped into third for Beachy Squajo with a 37:25. Then it's 37:40 for Cooper Langard in fourth. Sean Hollenbeck sitting in fifth right now for Expeditors at 38:08. Then Thomas Fuller in sixth with a 38:15. Jeremy Gourde in seventh for Mariloma Racing with a 38:16, followed by John Collier with a 39:04. And Oliver Hemmel sitting in ninth right now for Manteo Racing at 39:16. Those are your top 9 fast times right now. Again, with Troy Fields at the top, 36:25. Big gap in between riders here. I don't think we're going to be, we're not even close to being into the minute interval riders coming back yet. Just some separation out there on the road. I'm going to guess largely because of this gusting wind that, again, is being reported 16 to 20 mile an hour gusts out there right now. Sure does look beautiful from the screen. All right, should be looking at finishes incoming here for, I guess we'll be looking at like a 13:30 start block here. Theodore Schwartz, Manu Moore, Cam Fitzmaurice, Matt Hepworth. We did have Declan Kelly already in, but I'm not sure if we got those guys in. And this one looking like a finish of a road race with a couple guys finishing together. Got the bike throw and everything on the front. Every second matters out there. For, I think it was Manteo going to the line. Again, no real threats to the GC yet. Most of these guys turning in good TT times early on here are well down on GC, 9, 10, 11, 12 minutes back. So it won't be until the next 15 or 20 riders come in here that we start to get any real threats to Matthew Wilson here. We'll see if we can pick up some numbers through the line here. I think that was maybe Red Truck. Could have been Tristan Drews, maybe, somewhere in there. There's another Project Echelon jersey rolling through. Again, these guys are going to be well mixed in here, 30-second intervals. There'll be guys all over the road. It looked like Alto Velo. Maybe Florian Costa, 433. There's some guys flying on the way in. At least one POA in there. We also had, I think that Project Echelon jersey coming through was Stephen Bassett. That's going to be a great time for him. They're going to report Bassett's time at 36:27. Good for second here. He won't quite be able to beat Troy Fields' 36:25. But now Stephen Bassett going to slot into second with a 36:27 here. Ethan Powell down to third with a 36:53. And then Declan Ketley with a 37:25 in the fourth. Great ride there from Bassett. Starts the day 2:28 down on GC. I think he should be fine for Matthew Wilson as well, but Stephen Bassett doing what he does best, putting a bunch of power down over 30K here. So was that Ethan Crane, the next Project Echelon jersey here? I think so. Get a time calculating for him. That means we're waiting on names like Kaylor Marshall, Alexander Murison, Kent Ross, Blake Macheris, Evan Larson, and Stefan Schaefer coming up here. Be a 14:20, call it 05 finish for Mike's Bikes. With what must have been Taj Krieger across the line there. Project Echelon back through. Not sure who that. Oh, that must have been Sam Boardman. Not going to be good enough to crack a top 3 here for Boardman, but decent time. So now it goes Fields, Bassett, Powell, Kelly, Langard, Bohannon, McGough, Hollenbeck, and Fuller. From 36.25 out to 38.15 for Fuller. Project Echelon back through. I think that was probably Ethan Crane right there. Wouldn't expect Crane to have a great TT time here. Not really his specialty in these scenarios. Plus, he's been working all week for Caleb Clausen up at the front here. Clausen and Arnopol both going to be threats on this one. It'd be interesting to see who runs the better TT here, and we're going to find out in about 15 minutes from now when they start making their way through the line. These gaps are huge. Remember, these guys start at 30-second intervals. What you're seeing is a lot of riders that are coming together and ending up linked up on this course. Here's POA back through, probably Finn Mitchell. Mike's bike's going to get one in behind him. Let's call that Blake Macheris, because we already saw Taj Krieger in. So it'll be a decent time for Macheris there. Blake Macheris at about 40 minutes, I think, if these results are lining up. Again, we do have our best top 9, but that's the only info available for now. We're doing our best to come up with some time of day finish times for these riders as they come in. Here's 3 together. Now I'm going to try and figure that one out. Troy Fields, your current fast time, 36.25, with his teammate Stephen Bassett right behind him for Project Echelon with a 36.27. Only a couple seconds separating those two. Tag Cycling's Ethan Powell been having a great week. He was in the breakaway yesterday. He's third right now with a 36.53, and then 37.25 for Declan Kelly of the Beachy Squadra Squad, and Red Truck in fifth with Cooper Langard at 37.40. So 37.40 or below gets you into the top 5. dare I say, it looks like this wind might shift a little bit. Looking at the we'll see if the times increase here as we are going to be moving into 1 minute intervals pretty soon. It starts with Evan Russell. We're into about our last 20 finishers right now. I don't know. It looks like a tailwind to me. Maybe it's just swirling in this bowl of mountains that this finish line is in. All right, Project Echelon through. I wonder if that was Ricky Arnapol. Oh, man, that is going to be a blazing time if that's Arnapol. I'll call his finish time 14:29:40, something like that. If my calculations are correct, that'd be around a 36:40 for him. Going to be pretty good, but not enough to beat Fields' 36:25. It's going to get him somewhere inside the top 5. I'm pretty sure that was Arnapol. Time would match up. He's totally capable of a ride like that, so I think that is... that looks like an Alto Velo jersey of Nathan Martin. That's going to be a good time, too. 14:30:24, let's call it. That's going to give him a 36:24. These guys are all slotting in under 37 here. Again, we'll call all these times unofficial. We also had some new times in for, oh, wow, these are going to be new fast times here. Hearing that Christopher Ernst is doing a 36:06 or just did it. And Tim McBurney is going to be the first to break the 36-minute barrier. He just did a 35:50. All right, so now McBurney, your fastest time with a 35:50. Ernst going to go into second with a 36:06. And that'll drop Fields down to third with his 36:25. The fast times continue to fall. So now Tim McBurney into the hot seat at 35:50. Ernst went just behind McBurney. They started one after another. And Ernst did a 36:06. Well, there's not going to be many guys left that can beat that 35.50. They're at this point, there's only 7 of them. Maybe less. Clock's ticking away. I think this might be our last finisher on the way. That might be Beaumont here. That would make a little more sense. That'd be a 42.10 for Beaumont. If that was Wilson, our final rider, that's a 36.10 for him. That might be more likely. In fact, I think that probably was Wilson. I'll go ahead and say it because 36.10 would line up with him perfectly. All right, so now we got to do some math because a 36.10 for Wilson and a 35.50 for McBurney, who started the day at, he started the day 56 seconds down. It's not going to be enough for McBurney to get into pink here. Ernst at a 36.06. He starts the day 55 seconds down. That won't be enough to challenge Wilson. I need to see what Sebastian Brennis does here. And then we'll need to get a time from Caleb Clausen as well. That's Brennis right there. He is going to go 14:34:40-ish. That's going to be tough. He's going to lose some time here with a 38:40 individual time trial for him. And I think that's going to be your last rider on course. So Matthew Wilson does a decent 36.10. Is it enough to keep him in pink? We'll do some confirmations and figure out our jersey scenario here. Unofficially, I think Tim McBurney going to be your winner here with a 35.50 on the day. He'll pick up a stage win in the individual time trial with just one more day of racing to go. Their final road race at Tour de Bloom tomorrow. We'll also have sprint and KOM points on the line there, so going to be an interesting setup here. Cannot wait to see what these GC gaps are once they do all the math and get this out. I have a feeling we're going to be in for what continues to be a pretty good GC battle headed into the last day of Tour de Bloom tomorrow. We're going to see if Rebecca on site can grab a word with some of our top riders here, including your stage winner, Tim McBurney, today. Stage tomorrow, they call it the Queen Stage, the Ed Ferrar Memorial Road Race. In for a tough day of riding here for both our UCI women and our elite men tomorrow. Going to be doing 64 miles on the course, but just under 9,000 feet of elevation gain. So a little over 100K with 8,719 feet of elevation gain on tap tomorrow, including a beyond category finish climb. So there'll be some fireworks out there for sure. Going to be a good one, and we could very well see the GC change into the final day unofficially, I'm going to say that Matthew Wilson is going to hold on to the pink jersey here. We'll wait for official results. Again, try and get some interviews and get a podium going for our elite man coming up.
stage results.
No, espérate, ahorita.
Uno, dos.
Whoa. I didn't know if you could. All right, we're here with our stage 4 winner, Tim McBurney of Mike's Bikes. We saw him in the break almost all day yesterday. I guess that wasn't enough. He still had some power in his legs here. Tim, how was the course, and how the wind seemed to play quite a factor today?
Yeah, it was a lot longer than most of the TTs we do during the course of the year. So getting adjusted to that 30K distance was the first obstacle. But yeah, really real strong tailwind out. So it was just about conserving today, saving the power for the turnaround, and then just giving it everything that was left on the way out, on the way back in. So yeah, definitely an exercise in kind of pacing yourself and staying controlled, and then just giving it full gas on the way back.
And we saw you start strong at Redlands. You said you were working a little bit on the mechanics of the TT. We know that's a big thing in this discipline. Every little second, every little arrow thing counts. Talk about that and how your team worked on that.
Yeah, we had lots of aero nerds on the team, and so getting lots of good input on gear and all that kind of stuff. And so we have some new equipment this year. Our Cervelo bikes are really solid, and then Pearl Izumi, our kit supplier, has these great new skin suits. So yeah, really good improvements on that front. And so yeah, just excited to be able to actually put it all together in a race result.
Well, it's awesome. You've been doing well all week. What have you thought about the stages here at the Tour of the Bloom, and then we have our final stage tomorrow with that finishing climb?
It's my first time out at Bloom, and I've loved it. It's really interesting courses. Like feels like a proper full stage race. Yeah, I like the longer road stages a lot, and it's just gorgeous up here. So first time doing it, but I'll definitely be back.
All right. Well, congratulations on a great ride today. We'll see how you end up in GC. You're just out of the top 10, but I think you broke the top 10 with this finish.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations. All right. So that's Tim McBurney with Team Mike's bike. We've seen him inching his way up a little bit per race, but finally got the win here at Tour de Bloom. He's going to be heading over to gravel, switching bikes for Unbound, and then but we'll see where he ends up later this season. But a great ride here in Palisades here in Washington for stage 4. We're going to grab Matthew Wilson, who's second today. Tim McBurney was the first one to go under 36. Matthew, of course, our pink jersey. We'll see how it ended up at the end of the day, but our current GC lead and finishing second. Matthew, surprised by your ride today?
Yeah, quite surprised actually. I kind of picked the number 36 minutes to go for out of thin air, just 50k an hour, nice round number, and figured that'd be good enough to hold my position in GC. I've only spent about 2 hours on that TT bike before and never ridden it with a difficult tri-spoke, so yeah, I was just trying to maintain my position, so quite surprised to come out with a second place.
Is it, we were talking earlier, you mentioned you've only been in the States for a couple of months. Is the weather similar in New Zealand as far as the wind is concerned?
Yeah, wind's about the same. Obviously it depends on the day, but the road racing, I'm used to tour of Southland back home, which is notoriously windy. And then, temperature, it's not too hot. It's just about a New Zealand summer.
All right. Well, so a great second finish, and hopefully we'll keep the pink jersey. We'll see here in a little bit. But what do you think about tomorrow? There's a big finish. It's after a long 4 stages.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good fun day. My whole plan is really just to try secure the lead tomorrow. So yeah, it's nice to come into it already in the lead and having not lost any time today.
Not too bad for the team. You got the best young riders jersey with Beaumont, and hopefully we'll keep the pink jersey through tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right. Congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Cheers.
All right. So that was Matthew Wilson, our current pink jersey leader for here after the 4th day of the Tour of the Bloom here at the Palisades time trial. We are waiting for confirmation on that. We're going to set our podium here shortly. We're going to chat with Christopher Ernst of Expeditors. Of course, that team is a powerful team, a very deep team. They've got 3 past winners with Kaylor Marshall, Sean Hollenbach, and of course Kent Ross, who was our previous winner last year. Christopher Ernst, you just came off from Pan American Championships, right? What was your finish? What discipline did you do there?
Yeah, so I just got off of the track in Paraguay for Pan Am Track Champs. Unfortunately, I only did team pursuit, crashed out round 1, so unfortunately also got a concussion, so kind of hindered the prep towards Gila and then also Tour de Bloom, but on the way back, decent results, so I'm pretty happy with how the form's coming back.
Yeah, the podium is not too shabby, especially after concussion, and sometimes those can take quite a while to recover from.
Yeah, thankfully the team supported me really well. I pulled out of Redlands to just focus on the recovery and build properly towards the goals throughout the rest of the season, and they've had my back the whole time, both this week and last in New Mexico, so been really enjoying my time and glad I have the full support of the team.
Would you call yourself a time trial specialist? What is your what is your event and track that you specialize in?
Yeah, so both team pursuit, individual pursuit, and then also starting to transition more into bunch riders. So Omnium, Madison, did the national hour record back in January. So a little bit of everything, I'd say.
How does that come into your road preparation? I mean, that seems like quite a schedule.
Yeah, so balancing both the intensity of the track with a bit more endurance on the road kind of actually complements each other. So can do more of the VO2 and the high intensity stuff on the track and just worry about riding my bike on the road and enjoying it. So
we have one more stage tomorrow. What's the rest of the plan for the season? Are you heading to nationals?
Yeah, so I'll finish up here, then I'll actually fly over to Amsterdam on the 7th for a big roadblock with a Dutch team, come back for Tour de Beauce, and then national championships end of June.
All right, last question, just real quick, because Tour de Bloom has really pushed to raise the level here in Washington to have another 5-day stage race for you guys. I mean, though it's not UCI, what is it like to have another stage race on the calendar for you guys?
I mean, considering the number of races starting to go away is increasing year on year, which is quite unfortunate. Thankfully, I've had the opportunity to come here before, and seeing how the races developed since I last came here in 2019, it's fantastic to see. Like the support from the whole community here, and also the job Ace is doing, not just with our race, but the UCI women's race has been outstanding.
Well, great ride this week. We look forward to watching you the rest of the season. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So that's Christopher Ernst. He got third today behind Wilson and Tim McBurney. We're going to do a quick podium here, and then we will be back tomorrow morning for the final day here at the 2025 Tour de Bloom, going to up to the climb. It's going to be a great finale. Don't miss it. The GC is tight, so we'll see how it ends up. Thank you all for following. We look forward to seeing you back tomorrow. Check out interviews. We have plenty of coverage on Instagram, on our website, tourdebloom.com, with race reports, galleries, highlights, you name it. Get all your Tour de Bloom information and recaps there. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tú lo dale allá otra vez. Ahí sí no veo. Ahí está.
I was just sticking at like 250. There it is.
Did I flex? Can you see through?
Photos.
Can you see my abs?
Too? So I can take a photo. Wilson! And in first place, the winner of the Builders first time triumph for the elite man, bib number 398, Tim McBurney, representing Mike's Bikes. Can we pull those cans a little bit closer so the shadows out of their face?
Yeah, can we?
Yeah, pull it this way.
Put those boxes this way so your faces are exposed and not blocked.
Pull it out 5 feet.
Everybody's a critic today.
That's good. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
That's close enough.
Perfect.
Yeah, Timmy.
Thumbs up. That's right. Why not?
Great. Hold that. Nice. Great. Cool.
Hang on. Let's get him in the sunglasses.
Oh, that's some new oaks. Got some oaks.
Courtesy of Oakland.
Those are going to match the fit real nice. That's pretty fast. Upgrade.
Hang on. We got to do it proper.
Flip it. It's pretty secret.
There we go.
on, man.
Too long.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Oh yeah, all four jerseys. I'd zip the first one a little more. Keep I'd zip a little more.
Let me get the picture.
You can't say that. Come on.
I don't. This is the Snapchat.